Hey guys, it's Tommy here, and welcome back to Poke Accountant. Today, I want to talk about Ascended Heroes as we've kind of been this last week. This is a bit of a market update, so this is part three of three videos that I've made this week. The first video I made was talking about how Ascended Heroes at $200, $210, even 15. Great buy at launch. Buy as many as you can. That's why I had the clickbait title, buy, buy, buy. But really wasn't clickbait. It was honestly, I think, a really good price. The following weekend, on Monday, I talked about it, and the prices were now at $240 and $250, and I still thought at that point it was still a solid buy. And now here we are, Saturday morning. It's been a whole week since Ascended Heroes have came out, and the boxes are now over $300 for a Pokemon Center ETB. So that's 50% in 1 week's time. It's extraordinary. I think Ascended Heroes, it does have a lot of hype in it, but I also think a lot of that hype is warranted. This is probably one of the best sets, in my opinion, that we've had ever. Prismatic Evolutions was a good set, but Ascended Heroes, I think personally, takes the cake. Prismatic Evolution was pretty much evolutions and a Roaring Moon and some other cool stuff, but uh, Ascended Heroes, it has two gold rares. It's got Gengar. It's got two Pikachu's in it. It's got Dragonite. It's got a bunch of starter Pokemon and lots of other cool things, right? As well as God packs. It has Mega Attack rares, illustration arts, and EXs as well. And just the opening experiences on these things feels so much better than Prismatic, and I think for that reason it will be heavily ripped. And I think people, will rip the regular ETBs. As of right now, they've already gone through the stickers and the blisters, and the bundles are coming up. And people generally don't rip these Pokemon Center ETBs, or not as heavily, and that's why I think as an investor product, they don't reprint it ever, if not, and even if they do, it's like such a small amount that it's so minuscule it doesn't really quite affect the grand scheme of things. And we'll look into that later when we pull up the Prismatic Evolutions price chart, so you kind of know what I'm referring to. But without further ado, let's get into the prices of this thing. It's just gone absolutely hyperbolic, and we kind of expected this to happen. It's nothing like out of the ordinary. It's nothing like, oh, we didn't know would happen. As you see, the market price is $294 and some change. But if you look at the recent sales, you'll see 300, 320, 300, 315, 290. The last few sales, like last 10, 20 sales, right, have averaged about $300, a little bit over maybe even. And yeah, that's why I was just saying buy, buy, buy when it was at 200. And honestly, I think this thing, the train is gone on this. If you didn't catch this at 200, 210, if you didn't catch this at 230, 240, 250, I think this thing is gone. I would not be paying $300 for one of these. Maybe not now, but perhaps sometime in the future that will be a good opportunity again. But if you loaded these things up at 200, 230, 240, you wouldn't really have to be buying now, right? You wouldn't have to be buying at these prices, because I think the way things work in Pokemon is there's always a certain amount of cash that people are willing to spend, like coming from the investors and collectors, and it's a finite amount. It's not infinite. It's limited. And so let's just say that number, I'm going to make up a number in my head. Let's just say Pokemon investors as an aggregate, every single Pokemon investor in the world is willing to spend $1 million a week on Pokemon. And that number is not accurate, but that's just like my best guess possible. That $1 million can only be poured into so many products, right? And I think Pokemon Center ETBs for Ascended Heroes was that product that money was just being forced into. And we kind of saw this in the recent months as well. You saw that money kind of go into Destined Rivals. It's been going into 151. It's been going into Prismatic ETBs, Prismatic Bundles, right? It's been going into Phantasmal Flames, and now it's going into Ascended Heroes Pokemon Center ETBs. When the market sees when the Pokemon market, to be specific, sees an item that is relatively cheap, it's gonna pour into itself first. There's not much room for arbitrage. There's not much room to make really, smart, cool plays, right? The Pokemon market acts really quick. Once things start going up, it goes up. And so that's why we see these Ascended Heroes Pokemon Center ETBs at $300 now. And can it go up even more? Like, I think it could, right? 350, maybe even 400. And would it hold the price? I'm not sure. I don't really think so. But that's really what's going on with this thing. And, even if it held $300 for the rest of this year and it did nothing, you made 50% on your returns if you had bought in at $200. And as I was saying, that's the safest 50% play you can make ever. And if it does better than 50%, if we see this thing at 350, wow, even better. If we see it at 400 at the end of the year, phenomenal, right? It's just, a really, really good and solid play. And that's why I was advocating it. So I didn't leave you here to say that, you've missed out and there's nothing else. There's always more plays in the market. But I just wanted to kind of focus on this one first. And, even in the event that this thing shot up to 350 and 400, if they did a reprint like they did with, Prismatic Pokemon Center ETBs, we can maybe see the price, it went down to $219 for Prismatic in the summer, $240, right? So, it came out the gates hot, way hotter than these things did. This thing came out, it came down and then went back up. So, it had this like down and then back up thing. And it lasted for, frankly, months before it came back down during certain reprints and whatnot, right? Announcement of reprint and then the reprint itself, right? And we could see that with Ascended Heroes, given the large demand of it. So, those opportunities could come back. That's why I suggested to buy it at 200, at 250, right? And just let it sail off. And if Pokemon does decide to reprint it and prices come back down, then you can pick more up, right? But I think this thing is gone at the moment. Don't FOMO. You don't have to buy it. It's gone. Hopefully they reprint it and we can get more. But, as of right now, I'm actually looking at the regular ETBs. And now these things have become attractive all of a sudden. This thing has kind of like found its bottom and the market, it's not allowing it to get any lower currently. I can't really say for sure because it's only really held this 110 price for about 4 days now. So, the market's like, there's a lot of supply out there because these are regular ETBs after all. Target had these, Best Buy, Walmart, your local game stores, what else? GameStop, every single online website pretty much had these. So there are hundreds of thousands, if not like millions of these products out there. And I'm sure, the ones that people can get at MSRP are being ripped open right now. It's probably a lot of attrition. This thing only came out a week ago. That's wave 1. And, Pokemon comes out in like 2 waves now. So we should be expecting a second wave of these things coming out. And I think the supply on that will be pretty large as well. So, I would slowly dollar cost average into these. Pick some up at 110. Pick some up at 105, pick some up at 100, and if it gets sub 100, try to put a little bit more money in, right? I'm not a big fan of having singular ETBs that are like not protected by acrylics and stuff like that. So I might just go and buy a case and just pay the premium for it. I'm seeing them for about $1,100 on Facebook Marketplace and also from a few of my plugs. I'll pay $1,100, and even if these things go down to $100 a box, I'm not like super duper overpaying, right? I'm paying an extra 10% to have in a nice brown box where it's all protected. I could store it easily. I don't have to worry about like dents and rips and stuff of that nature. And I'll gladly pay the premium for that. So, I think these regular ETBs are a really good item to look at now. I think the market will require like a lot more time to eat those things up, especially as we look at, like the regular Pokemon, prismatic ETBs. Let me see if I can find that really quick. That's the Dollar General exclusive. Here we go. So they're like 180 right now. So wow, 180 already. Crazy, huh? I mean, these things were selling at like sub 100, and even at this like 110 range, right? That was really good buy considering it's 180 now. It's done a good 70%. So like I think if you buy these Pokemon Center Ascended Heroes ETBs at the low, you will do phenomenal by the end of the year. You'll make like an easy 70 to 100% gain. And same thing for these regular ETBs. If you buy them at these lows, I think you can make a easy 70 to 80%, 90% gains by the end of the year. Kind of the way it was for Prismatic, right? And you just really got to give it its time to do its thing, because I'm pretty sure Celebrations is coming out this year. It's going to be hot, and they might even print that more than Mega Evolutions Ascended Heroes. And the reason I say that is because it's a anniversary set, right? And they printed 25th anniversary like crazy, and there's still so much of that out there in the market. And I just think it makes sense from like a marketing and product standpoint, to just print more of a product that is it's special, right? This thing only comes once every 5 years. This set is really good for Ascended Heroes, right? But there will be more in the future. There will be other specialty sets. That's why I think it's a good opportunity to buy it now at $110 for these regular ETBs, just because we don't know how long they will print these for. Odds are they could just print this into the next year as they did Prismatic, or odds are they might print this until the summer, right? Late summer, and then Celebrations comes out, the anniversary set comes out, and then that thing gets printed heavily. And if that thing gets printed heavily, we will start seeing less of these. And even though there's tons of supply in the market right now, it will dry up. That's happened with Prismatic Evolutions. So why can it not happen to this? At least with Prismatic Evolutions, like I know Black Bolt and White Flare came out afterward, like subsequently as the next holiday set. But the demand for Black Bolt and White Flare was not the level as it was for Prismatic Evolutions. Ascended Heroes, I think, is on par, if not more hype. Maybe not more hype, but it's very near where Prismatic Evolutions is at in terms of like hype and availability, I believe. But I don't know, just something about Celebrations and the anniversary set being around the corner makes me think that it's very possible that those things will be printed like crazy, and we won't be seeing too much of these Ascended Heroes ETBs actually. So, if that were the case, it would make buying now make a lot of sense. And I don't think it hurts. Pick up a few boxes or a few cases now and wait a bit. If the prices, come down more, or again, you can always buy some more. And same thing, if they reprint, right? Like same thing with these regular ETBs. When they reprint, you buy. When they reprint, you buy. When they reprint, you buy, right? Or when the prices drop, you buy. But what if in a scenario it stopped dropping because like they focus their print capacity on something else? Now it's really hard to, now you've missed a boat. And I really don't want that happen to anyone. So that's why I'm saying just dollar cost average over this year. Buy it at the lows, especially at the lows. Buy more if you can at the lows. And I think you'd be glad that you did it. Like what else are you buying in the market right now? You could buy Sword and Shield, of course, right? But I think, Sword and Shield will have its leg up, but I don't know. It seems like the money doesn't want to go there right now. I think it will again in the future, right? So that's always a thing you could spend your money on. There's like early Scarlet and Violet. There's like Surging Sparks, and I don't even want to talk about Phantasmal Flames and Destined Rivals. It's so expensive. I just see a product like this that's cheaper, and it's just like, we see what prismatic ETBs did, and I feel like this could do the same thing. I think it could do the same thing. Let me know your thoughts below if you made it this far. As always, I would love it if you could leave a comment, a like, and give me a sub if you enjoy content like this. Today is the last day of February, I believe. Yeah, today's the last day of February. So, the end of the day today, so tonight, I'm probably going to start gathering some data. And if you didn't know, here on this channel, it's like very much accounting based, right? I'm Poke Accountant. So I'm going to be putting out spreadsheets of set performances for the end of February, and we're going to compare that to January and talk about some of the price changes tomorrow. So I hope you tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I do quarterly reports, monthly closings, annual reports. It's very much accounting themed as it gets, and we're just talking about the numbers. We're not talking about my feelings. We're just talking about the numbers and what those things are doing and the story that the numbers tell. So I hope you are able to tune in for that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm Tommy with Poke Accountant, and I'll be signing out. So I'll see you tomorrow. See you there. Bye.